Good morning. I'm so glad you're here today. I believe you didn't just stumble in by accident. I believe you were led here on purpose. You may not realize it, but you're one step away from a shift, a breakthrough, a new level in your life. And it's not gonna happen because of who you know or what you can do, but because of God's favor on your life. You were created to live not with a defeated mentality, not with a limited perspective, not dragging through life, but with a favor mindset. That means you walk into every room like you belong there. You face challenges knowing the outcome is already leaning in your direction. You don't just hope for good breaks, you expect them. Favor is not luck. It's not random. It's a divine force that causes you to stand out, to be chosen, to rise when others fall. But here's the key. You have to live favor-minded. You have to think, speak it, believe it. Favor doesn't follow fear, doubt, or negativity. It follows faith. You may say, but I don't feel favored. My situation looks the opposite. That's okay. Favor is not a feeling. It's a fact. You are favored because the one who made you has placed his hand on your life. You are marked for something greater, not because you deserve it, but because he's just that good. Start waking up saying, no, I am surrounded by favor. Favor is opening doors I can't see yet. Favor is making people want to help me. Favor is healing what I can't fix. When you speak it, you activate it. Let the world say it's impossible, but let your heart say, I have the favor of God. Let the odds be stacked against you. But remember, favor breaks protocol. It lifts you in the storm. It promotes you from the background. It qualifies you when others say you're unqualified. So don't go through life favor blind. Don't settle into average when you've been crowned with favor. Get your hopes up again. Dream big again. Walk like you believe. Heaven is backing you. Because when you live favor-minded, you don't chase blessings. Blessings chase you. Let that favor mindset take root and watch what God will do. You weren't meant to go through life just hoping things might get better. You were designed to wake up every day with anticipation, with a confident expectation that something good is on its way. Not because of what you see, not because of what the news says, and not because everything is perfect, but because you know that you're connected to a source greater than you. There's something powerful about carrying that inner confidence, that quiet assurance that even though life may not be ideal right now, something is shifting in your favor. When you start your morning believing that this could be the day something changes, the day a new opportunity finds you, the day that phone call comes, the day the burden lifts, it sets the tone for your entire day. You carry yourself differently. You smile when others are frowning. You stay hopeful when others are giving up. And it's not blind optimism. It's grounded in the truth that God is good. And He hasn't brought you this far to leave you now. A lot of people go through life neutral. They're not expecting anything bad, but they're not expecting anything good either. They're just coasting, just getting by. When you live like that, you miss out on moments that were tailor-made for you. Your attitude has power. Your mindset has momentum. When you decide that every day holds potential, you begin to notice things others overlook. Doors begin to open that weren't even on your radar. The right people cross your path. It's not coincidence. Look at our surroundings and let what we see determine what we believe. We think, how can anything good happen today? My finances are tight. My health isn't improving. My relationship is struggling. But that's the moment when you have to shift your focus. Instead of rehearsing the problem, remind yourself of the possibility. Remind yourself who's on your side. You may not see how, but you don't have to. Your job is to trust, to believe, and to expect. It's easy to live with low expectations after disappointment. Maybe something didn't work out. Maybe the promotion passed you by, the door closed, the prayer hasn't been answered yet. That can condition your heart to protect itself. So you start saying things like, if I don't get my hopes up. But that's not how you were created to live. You were never meant to shrink your dreams to fit your pain. Every setback you've walked through has not disqualified you. It's positioned you. There's still more ahead. Just because you've had delays doesn't mean you're denied. When you believe something good is coming, even in the middle of the struggle, you're planting seeds for the future. Your words, your thoughts, your posture, they begin to line up with what you're expecting. He's attracted to trust. When he sees you standing in the middle of a storm saying, I still believe good things are on the way, that moves him. Some people wake up every day expecting trouble. They say things like, I know it's going to be another hard day, or nothing ever goes right for me. And they don't realize they're speaking that over themselves. But you can reverse that. You can wake up and say, this is going to be a day of peace, a day of progress, a day of open doors. And guess what? You start finding what you're looking for. Not because life is always easy, but because your mindset has been retrained to see the light even in dark places, even in ordinary moments. Waiting in line, sitting in traffic, working through the routine. Keep your heart open. You don't need fireworks for something significant to begin. Sometimes the favor you're looking for starts as a whisper, as a small connection, as a gentle nudge. But you'll only catch it if you're tuned in, if you're ready, if you're expecting. And don't wait until everything lines up to start believing. And believe now, when the bill's unpaid. With a doctor's report in hand, with the relationship in pieces, say to yourself, even here, even now, something good can come out of this. That kind of belief is unshakable. That's the belief that causes breakthroughs to happen. You are not waking up to just another day. You are waking up to possibility, to purpose, to divine timing, to restoration. There is more happening behind the scenes than you realize. And just because you can't see it yet doesn't mean it's not already in motion. That's why it's so important to show up with the right attitude. Your mindset is the soil that grows the future you've been praying for. So choose to believe again. Choose to trust when it would be easier to doubt. Choose to look for the hand of God in the little things. Life may have taught you to lower your expectations, but God is reminding you to raise them. You weren't created to live in survival mode. You were created to walk in confidence, knowing that today holds promise and tomorrow holds even more. Because when you start believing that the best is yet to come, it changes everything. There's a connection between what you speak and what you see, and what you see. Your words are not just sounds. They carry creative power. Every time you open your mouth, you're either speaking life or speaking limitation. That's why it's so important to be intentional with your language, especially when you're facing something that looks bigger than you. You don't have to understand how everything will work out, but you do need to speak like you know it will. Too often we let what we feel dictate what we say. We feel overwhelmed, so we say things like, this is never going to get better. We feel discouraged, so we declare, I always have bad luck. But the danger is that we are reinforcing the very things we want to break. What starts as frustration can turn into a self-fulfilling prophecy, not because you're cursed, but because you keep agreeing with the wrong voice. There's another way to live. You can choose to speak words that align with hope, faith, victory, and breakthrough, even when everything around you can declare peace in the middle of chaos. You can speak healing when you're still in pain. You can say, something good is coming when you see no evidence of change. That's not denial. That's faith in action. Every time you speak with that confidence, you're creating an atmosphere for something greater to take place. You're telling your situation, you're not the final authority here. You're reminding your future, get ready, something better is on the way. And you're telling your own soul, stay encouraged. We're not done yet. You have to train yourself to talk differently. It won't always feel natural, especially if you're used to being negative or sarcastic. But the more you do it, the more it becomes your new default. You don't have to fake it. Just start declaring what you know is true, even if you don't feel it yet. Say things like, I'm strong, I'm healthy, I'm rising, I'm chosen, I'm walking into something better. The more you speak it, the more it begins to shape the atmosphere around you. People might look at you and say, why are you so confident? Why are you so hopeful? And you'll be able to say, it's because I've seen what happens when I change my words. You'll know that every declaration is like planting a seed in the soil of your future. And in due time, that seed will grow. When you're going through a storm, your words are especially powerful. That's when it's easiest to complain, to vent, to get bitter. But those are the moments where your words matter most. You can either echo your circumstances, or you can speak into your circumstances. You can say, this is too hard, or you can say, I've been through worse, and I came out stronger. You can say, I don't see how this will work out. Or you can say, it may not look good now, but I know who's in control. This doesn't mean you ignore the facts. But it does mean you choose your confession. You acknowledge what's real, but you also declare what's possible. You don't have to lie. You just have to lift your language. Instead of saying, I'm barely making it, start saying, I have everything I need. Instead of saying, I'm unlucky in life, start saying, the doors are opening for me even now. What you say in the dark will determine what you see in the light. If you're constantly tearing yourself down, don't be surprised when nothing lifts you up. But if you keep building yourself up with the words you speak, even if no one else is cheering for you, you'll begin to experience. Sometimes you have to be your own encourager. You can't always depend on others to speak the right things over you. Get in the habit of doing it for yourself. Look in the mirror and remind yourself who you are. You're not weak. You're not forgotten. You're not too far gone. You're still in the story. You're still on the path. You're still on the edge of something great. Your words have the power to lift your faith or limit it. They can either magnify the problem or magnify the promise. Start paying attention to how you speak, especially in casual conversation. Do your words reflect trust? Do they reflect confidence, or are they echoing fear and doubt? Even if your life hasn't changed, your language can start changing today. And when your language changes, when your perspective changes, and when your decisions change, your future begins to shift. You are not just speaking to communicate. You are speaking to activate, to call things into alignment, to draw strength into your weakness, to declare victory even in the waiting. Don't let your voice reinforce the walls around you. Let it knock them down. So today, speak words that build, not break. Speak words that bless, not burden. Speak words that stretch your vision, not shrink it. Because what you say matters more than you realize. And one day you'll look back and realize that your future wasn't built in one moment. It was built word by word, declaration, day by day. Life has a way of confronting us with situations that look nothing like the promises we've heard or the dreams we've carried. You pray, you believe, you work hard, but sometimes the results don't line up with your expectations. The door closes, the report is negative, the relationship breaks down. And in those moments, it's tempting to think, maybe I missed it. Maybe I'm not meant to rise. Maybe this is just how it's going to be for me. But that's exactly where you have to draw the line. Because what's happening around you doesn't determine what's happening inside you. It's easy to believe when everything looks right. When the bills are paid, when the opportunities are flowing, when your health is strong and the people around you are cheering you on. But the real test of belief is how you carry yourself when the opposite is true. When nothing seems to be going your way, when the support is gone. When the silence stretches longer than expected. That's when you find out if your confidence was rooted in what you could see or what you've chosen to believe. You only trust when the path is clear. You'll stay stuck in seasons that were meant to grow you. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. Breakthroughs don't come when everything's easy. They're born in the tension, in the moments where you could give up, but you don't. In the moments where you could shrink back, but you stand up anyway and say, I still believe, I still trust, I still know something good is on the way. The reality is, circumstances will always try to talk you out of what you know. They'll say, oh, look around, there's no progress. You're wasting your time. But faith has never been about evidence. It's about vision. It's about the ability to see beyond what your natural eyes can observe. That's why some of the most powerful declarations you'll ever make will come when you have absolutely no proof. When you're declaring healing while still feeling the pain. When you're speaking victory while surrounded by resistance. When you're calling yourself blessed while walking through a storm. There's something unstoppable about a person who refuses to let their environment dictate their expectation. That kind of strength doesn't come from wishful thinking. It comes from knowing who you belong to. It comes from remembering that the same force that parted the seas, shut the mouths of lions, and raised what was dead. That force is still alive today. And it didn't stop working after the stories in the book. It's still working in your story right now. You may be walking through a valley, but valleys aren't forever. You may be facing a giant, but giants do fall. You may feel delayed, but you're not denied. You don't have to see the finish line to know that you're still in the race. You don't need perfect conditions to know that something is still shifting. Even when you don't feel it, even when you don't see it. Something is happening behind the scenes. Sometimes the challenge isn't even the situation. It's the inner voice that keeps whispering, it's too late for you. You've missed your moment, you'll never recover. But just because the voice is loud doesn't mean it's telling the truth. You've got to learn how to talk back to it. Speak louder than the doubt. Speak louder than the fear. Let your spirit rise even when your circumstances say, stay down. Don't fall into the trap of waiting for things to change before you believe again. Start believing. Start acting like you're already on your way. Start preparing for the blessing while you're still in the battle. That's how you turn seasons of struggle into stepping stones for something greater. That's how you refuse to let pressure become your prison. You decide, right in the middle of the difficulty, that your belief will not be shaken. Oh, and remember this. Nothing you face is wasted. The setback is not the end of your story. The closed door didn't cancel the promise. Sometimes the pressure you feel is not a sign of failure, but a sign that you're getting closer to something greater. Just because the road has taken unexpected turns doesn't mean it's not still leading somewhere beautiful. You have more strength in you than you know. More resilience, more faith, more grace. The circumstances may have changed, but the calling hasn't, the favor hasn't. Keep walking with your head held high, not because everything, but because you know who walks with you. And when the world says, you're finished, your faith says, I'm just getting started. So take another step, speak another word, hold on another day. You are not being held back. You're being set up for something you couldn't have orchestrated on your own. And when that moment comes, you'll be able to say, I didn't quit when it got hard. I didn't fold under the weight. I didn't let what I saw cancel what I knew. Because your belief isn't based on the situation. It's based on the source. Never fails. It's easy to believe you need a spotlight to be seen. That if you're not being recognized, applauded, or publicly celebrated, you must be forgotten. But that's not how divine promotion works. Some of the greatest shifts in a person's life don't happen when everyone is watching. They happen in the background, in silence, in private seasons that look insignificant to others, when nobody is calling your name, when no doors seem to be opening, when your efforts feel unseen, unappreciated, and unrewarded. But that quiet place is not a wasted place. It's preparation. It's the base where character is formed, strength is built, and roots grow deep. Just because your name isn't being mentioned doesn't mean your purpose has been paused. There's something beautiful about being developed away from the crowd. Because when you rise, you'll be strong enough to stand. Some of the most powerful stories began in obscurity. People who were overlooked, underestimated, and even dismissed. They didn't start on platforms or in front of cameras. They started in fields, in prisons, in deserts, in hidden places where it seemed like nothing was happening. But they kept showing up, kept being faithful, kept believing. And when the moment came, they didn't have to chase anything. The opportunity came to them. You don't have to promote yourself when you're walking in purpose. You don't have to force your way into rooms or to convince people of your value. What is meant for you has already been written. The path has already been prepared, and when it's time, no one will be able to block it, delay it, or deny it. But while you wait, you have to learn to trust the shadows, trust the seasons that feel quiet, trust the moments when no one is calling, texting, or noticing. It's in that space that you build endurance. It's where you learn to rely on something deeper than applause. You start to grow from within. You develop discipline. Show up not because someone's watching, but because you know who you are. That's the kind of strength that can't be shaken later. That's the kind of strength that sustains when the door finally opens. Too many people miss their moment because they despise the place they're currently in. They think, when I get the opportunity, then I'll get serious. When people start noticing me, then I'll rise to the occasion. But that's not how greatness works. The habits you develop in quiet seasons are the very things that will carry you when you're placed in public. If you can be excellent when no one's clapping, you'll be unstoppable when the world starts watching. Sometimes it feels like nothing's moving. Like your prayers are bouncing off the ceiling. Like all your efforts are producing no results. But don't be fooled, growth is still happening. You're not being buried. You're being planted. And what's planted doesn't stay in the dirt forever. It breaks through, it rises. But it first has to grow where no one can see. There will be moments when you wonder, does anyone see what I'm doing? Does it even matter? And the answer is yes. More than you realize. The right people may not see it now, but heaven sees. The seeds you've sown in the quiet places are not forgotten. Every act of obedience, every choice to do the right thing when it would have been easier not to, every time you refuse to settle, it's all being gathered, stacked, stored, and at the appointed time it will all come together. Don't be discouraged by the silence. Don't let the lack of visibility make you think nothing is happening. The greatest shifts often start in seasons of hidden obedience. You're not invisible. You're not behind. You're being positioned. And when your moment comes, it won't be a result of striving. It will be a result of your preparation meeting divine time. There are things being orchestrated on your behalf that you don't even know about yet. Conversations are happening about you. Doors are being prepared with your name on them. People are being stirred to notice what you carry. You may be in a field today, but the palace still in your future. You may be overlooked now, but you won't be overlooked forever. Your job is not to worry about when or how. Your job is to be faithful where you are. Be consistent. Be excellent. Be excellent. Grateful. Keep showing up with your whole heart, even when it feels like no one is watching. Because the truth is, every moment of quiet faithfulness is shaping something strong within you. Something powerful enough to sustain the next season. And when the shift comes, and it will, you won't need to beg for attention. You won't need to explain where you've been. You'll walk through the open door with quiet strength and undeniable confidence. Because you'll know you didn't force it. You didn't fake it. You didn't chase it. It found you, right where you were, doing the right thing in the unseen place. What you see in your mind is just as important as what you see with your eyes. Life will always try to convince you to settle. It will put barriers in your way and tell you that you've gone far enough. It will show you opposition and expect you to shrink your dreams to match your reality. But what determines how far you go isn't the size of the problem. If you can see yourself rising, even when everything around you says otherwise, you are already on your way to something greater. The way you see your life shapes the way you live it. If all you ever see is struggle, lack, and survival, then that becomes your expectation. You begin to settle for just enough. You start preparing for more disappointment, and your heart forgets how to hope. But when you make a decision to lift your vision to imagine more, to picture yourself breaking barriers, walking through open doors, fulfilling a purpose that's bigger than where you've been, something inside of you shifts. You begin to act like where you're going matters. You were never meant to live in maintenance mode. You were created with purpose, designed with intention, and placed in this world to leave a mark. But to walk in that truth, you have to picture yourself rising before anything around you changes. That means choosing to imagine more when your bank account says less. That means preparing for promotion while you're still waiting in the hallway. That means speaking growth while you're standing in the middle of resistance. The picture in your mind must be greater than the pressure you feel around you. Sometimes all it takes is one small change in the way you see yourself. You stop calling yourself broken, and you start calling yourself whole. You stop focusing on what left, and you start dreaming about what's coming. You stop replaying the loss, and you start visualizing the comeback. Your vision begins to lead your emotions instead of your emotions driving your vision. You may still feel stuck, but you know deep down, this is not where the story ends. What makes this powerful is that you don't have to wait for anything external to shift before you choose a new internal picture. Right here, right now, you can close your eyes and imagine yourself walking in strength. You can see yourself free from the burden, restored from the loss, moving forward with clarity and boldness. That mental picture becomes your blueprint. That vision becomes your compass. And even when your emotions try to talk you out of it, you have something stronger. A picture of where you're going, not just where you've been. Others may not understand your vision. That's okay. It wasn't given to them. It was planted in you. And sometimes the people around you are only speaking from their limited view. They see where you are, but they don't see what's in you. Don't let their limited perspective limit yours. Just because they can't imagine, it doesn't mean it's not possible. Your job isn't to convince them. Your job is to stay faithful to the picture in your heart. That mental image of where you're going is your anchor when storms hit. When things get shaky, when setbacks come, when delays frustrate you, you go back to that vision. You remind yourself, this is temporary. This is not the final chapter. What's ahead is still unfolding. The season you're walking through doesn't cancel what's been promised. And you don't let a hard moment convince you to throw away a hopeful future. You have to guard that vision. Don't let fear, don't let fatigue blur it. Don't let disappointment shrink it. There will be days when it feels like nothing is happening. But that's when your vision has to stand tallest. You get up anyway. You take one more step. You keep showing up like you're already there. Because in your heart, you've already seen the end. And you know it's worth every battle along the way. The truth is, some of the greatest people you'll ever meet have one thing in common. They saw more before they ever had more. They saw peace while walking through storms. They saw restoration while holding the ashes. They saw purpose in seasons of pain. What they carried on the inside was greater than anything that tried to stop them on the outside. And you have that same ability. You don't have to live by what's visible. You can live by what's possible. Every time you choose to imagine more, to dream again, to picture something better, you are building the road you'll eventually walk on. Don't wait for permission to believe in what's already been placed in you. Hold on to that picture. Speak from it. Move with it. Plan around it. It's more than a fantasy. It's a glimpse of what's being prepared. The world may only see where you are, but heaven sees where you're going. And when your inner picture aligns with that truth, nothing can stop the forward motion that begins. You're not just surviving, you're being shaped. You're being positioned, and it all starts with what you allow yourself to see, not with your eyes, but with your spirit. So dare to see the breakthrough. Dare to imagine the turnaround. Dare to believe the door's going to open. Don't let your past vision of yourself rob you of the future you're called to walk in. You are already further than you think, because the moment you start to see it, you've already started to live it. Fear has a way of showing up uninvited. It doesn't need permission to whisper in your ear, to creep into your thoughts, to cloud your perspective. It shows up when the doctor gives the report, when the opportunity looks too big, when the future feels uncertain. It tries to paralyze you before you even begin. It'll say, what if you fail? What if it doesn't work? What if you get hurt again? What if you're going to step into what you were created for? You have to learn how to respond when that voice gets loud. You don't conquer fear by pretending it's not there. You overcome it by choosing to believe in something greater. You fight it with truth, with vision, with boldness that doesn't come from your own strength, but from knowing who walks with you. When fear says, you can't, you say, I wasn't chosen by chance. I was chosen on purpose. When fear says, it's too late, you say, right on time is still on the calendar. You answer fear, not with panic, but with peace. Not with retreat, but with resolve. Fear will always try to make you focus on what you don't have. The skills you lack, the past you carry, the mistakes you've made, the uncertainty ahead. But what you may not realize is that you've been equipped with more than you think. There's a force working in your life that's not based on your resume, your bank account, or your perfection. It's based on a promise, a covering, an assignment. When you remember that, you start to walk differently, not arrogant, but confident. You understand that no fear can cancel what has already been written. It's not that you won't feel nervous. You will. It's not that you won't question things. You might. But courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to move forward anyway. It's when you feel afraid, but you show up anyway. It's when you don't have all the answers, but you keep building anyway. It's when you're unsure of the outcome, but you trust the process anyway. That kind of courage is contagious. It inspires others. It silences doubt. and it activates things in the spiritual realm that can't be seen with natural eyes. Some of the most pivotal moments in your life will begin with fear trying to talk you out of it. Right before the breakthrough, fear will raise its voice. Right before the promotion, right before the opportunity, right before the answer comes, fear will try to stop you in your tracks. That's not a sign you're doing something wrong. That's often a sign you're getting close. Fear doesn't fight what isn't a threat. If it's pressing in heavy, it's because something powerful is around the corner. You can't let temporary emotion steal a permanent purpose. There's too much on the line. There's too much you're called to do, too many lives you're meant to impact, too many stories that need your voice. Fear wants to make you forget that. It wants you to stay quiet, play small, and live safe. But that's not your destiny. Playing it safe never produced anything world-changing. Staying small never built anything eternal. Playing it safe might keep you comfortable, but it'll also keep you stuck. And here's the truth. When you start walking in boldness, the fear doesn't disappear immediately. It might follow you for a while. It might tap on your shoulder even after the door opens. But you'll be stronger than you were before. You'll realize that fear never had the power. It only had the volume. And once you stop letting it set the tone, you'll start hearing another voice. One that reminds you who you are and what you're here to do. You have to stop letting fear be the deciding voice in your decision. Stop letting it vote on your future. Stop giving it a seat at the table. It hasn't earned it. It doesn't build anything. It only breaks. It doesn't lift. It only limits. So take your authority back. Choose to speak differently. Think differently. Show up differently. Move even if you're shaking. Step even if you're scared. Walk like you've already won. Because the truth is, in many ways, you already have. The path forward might not be predictable. You may still have questions, but one thing is certain. You are not alone. You are not walking into your next chapter empty-handed. You've been covered, packed, empowered, and prepared for more than you know. That's why fear loses its grip, because it can't compete with what you carry. So when fear rises, don't back down. Don't retreat. Remember that what's ahead of you is greater than what's trying to stop you. The resistance you feel isn't the end. It's the doorway. And when you pass through it, you'll wonder why you waited so long to step. You've got too much purpose to be paralyzed. Too much calling to be quiet. Too much on the inside to live on the outside of your own story. So go forward. Not with fear leading the way, but with power, with purpose, and with a deep knowing. No matter what comes, you're walking with strength, not shaking. You're walking covered, not exposed. So today, bet you're not going to live like everyone else. You're not going to wake up hoping something good happens. You're going to wake up knowing it will. You're not going to let fear dictate your direction. You're going to let faith and favor lead the way. You're not going to talk yourself out of your destiny. You're going to speak life, see victory, and expect goodness in every season. You may not be where you want to be just yet. Things may not have lined up the way you imagined. But don't be discouraged. You're not behind. You're not overlooked. You're not forgotten. You are being developed, shaped, and strengthened. And as you continue walking with boldness, speaking with confidence, and expecting favor in every area of your life, things will begin to shift. Live with your head held high. Not because you've got it all figured out, but because you're connected to the one who does. Stay faithful in obscurity. Keep your vision lifted even in the waiting. Speak words that reflect where you're going, not where you've been. And above all, don't shrink your mindset to match the world around you. Let your mindset rise to match the favor that's been placed on your life. When you live this way, favor-minded, you won't chase blessings. Blessings will chase you, doors will open for you, obstacles will move for you. The right people will be drawn to you, and what was once impossible will suddenly be within reach. So go out today with boldness, with gratitude, with expectation. Because you're not living ordinary. You're living with favor in mind and favor all over your life.